This is always one of our weirdest podcasts because we're recording this. And as we record this on Tuesday, you're going to hear this on Thursday, and headlines will already be made at Knoxville, and that's just fine. We hope you're following along with us and carrying on, but it's the Knoxville Nationals Week. She's Aaron Evernham. I'm Steve Post. This is Wing Nation presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils. And I think these shows are always challenging this week because it's like we record on Tuesday for Thursday, and someone could do something on Wednesday night that just blows our mind. And so if they did that and you're watching on Thursday, that's why we're not talking about it. We'll talk about it on our daily show,
Giving
the
our
VFW.
secrets away.
That's right, exactly. A little behind the scenes. But they're always fun chance for us to talk to somebody that is Knoxville related, but is not going to win on Wednesday night. And
Yes.
Eric Arnold, I don't believe he's slated to drive or win on Wednesday night. He is the track historian, and that's who we're going to talk to here today on our podcast.
I'm looking forward to it. Just before the NASCAR truck race, I did a little thing for MRN that talked about the track
Yes.
history, and I thought for the amount of years I've been there, I didn't even know half of the paragraph before. It was neat to learn about it, how the track started and how it's evolved.
So I'm going way off the radar here. We had the Truck Series race. Alexa Henryon is our
Yes.
producer of that, okay? And she is filling in for the Krager. She's joined the nation this week,
Yeah.
okay? She's filling in for Krager, so she's monitoring the board. And we were talking this weekend, and she says, I'm just glad I got the history right. Aaron did such a great job with the piece. I'm just glad I got the history right. Well, she did. You did, and we had a great part of our Truck Series broadcast
I
out
actually
there.
got a bunch of compliments on that. A few people
Yeah,
reached out
absolutely.
and heard it.
Well, I just find it interesting. You're talking about the script, and Alexa was talking about the script. And she's like, I'm just glad I got the history right on it.
Yeah.
So neat stuff. It's just weird how people interact, and here we sit. Here we sit on the cusp of the Nationals talking about the history of that racetrack, and we're going to talk to Eric Arnold, who he could have written. He has written books on it.
Yes.
We didn't have time for books in between the heat races and the A main for the Truck Series back a few weeks ago. So neat stuff, that is for sure. So that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, let's go back to last Saturday night. The My Place Hotels 360 Nationals for the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. Darren Pittman and Gio Scelzi. It was on Dirt Vision, our good friend Brian Hulbert with the call.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
And Scelzi bobbled that time on the cushion at turns 3 and 4. Darren Pittman's going to go back to the race lead. Pittman slides up across the racetrack. Scelzi trying to turn it down. Battle for the race lead. Here comes Gio to the top spot. Giovanni Scelzi back to the race lead. He'll try to use the lap car as a pick. Can it hold? They'll work through turns 3 and 4. $15,000 is going to Giovanni Scelzi in the 18.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the world of outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
For decades, Dryden Lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, Dryden offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to Dryden.com. Dryden, American-owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Wing Nation presented by Dryden, by DRF Racing Oils. We're so glad you joined us here on our podcast. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline, the historian for Knoxville Raceway and all things Knoxville Nationals. Eric Arnold joins us. Hello, Eric. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Thanks, Postman. Good to be on.
Great to catch up with you. I can't imagine, we're so geeked up about Knoxville Nationals Week, and we have ties to it, but not like your ties to it. What is the week like for you beyond buku loads of work?
Loads of work is correct. It's a crazy 2 weeks. This is not my full-time job. I actually have a real job. And working for Knoxville Raceway at night, while I'm at home and then on the weekends, and then I take vacation from my real job to be here for 10 or 11 days. And it's pretty crazy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's all about passion. And this is what I love to do the most in my life. And I can't imagine being anywhere else than at Knoxville Raceway, especially in August.
Eric, tell us a little bit about your history. Where did your love from Knoxville come from, and how long have you been working with the Knoxville Raceway?
Well, officially, I started working here in 2011, but I started coming here when I was 3 years old in 1977. My parents brought me here, and that was the magic year Doug Wolfgang started the season winning 10 races in a row. And the crowd would just boo and boo Doug Wolfgang because he was winning all of the time. And of course, he becomes my favorite driver, and I fall in love with sprint car racing. And you start collecting nationals programs, and I kind of become a nerd as far as keeping track of stats, writing down lineups and finishes every Saturday night, sitting in the stands as a kid, and that continued for most of my adult life. I went through the brief party phase in my 20s, but then I kind of circled back around once I got to my 30s and started getting involved with writing and media a little bit, and it's evolved into handling social media here and stats on the history side. And I'm super blessed to be able to work at Knoxville Raceway and get paid to watch the races and talk about it. And I love it.
So you're the kid collecting the program, keeping the stats and everything like that, and then you go off and you party a little bit, and then you come back. When did you decide that I have enough here to write a book and to really focus in on kind of becoming the historian of the racetrack? What was there a light bulb that went off and said, hey, I've got a little bit more here than maybe just sitting in the stands keeping score?
It really kind of, you're in the right place at the right time, like most things.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Newton, Iowa, which is where Iowa Speedway is. And some friends of mine worked for the local newspaper in Newton. And when Iowa Speedway opened, they were looking for someone to help out reporting about the races there because nobody on staff knew anything about racing. And I started writing about events for NASCAR or Hooters Pro Cup or IndyCar, whatever they would have at the time. And then I was like, hey, I really am more passionate about sprint car racing at Knoxville. Could I start writing about that? And that evolved into covering things here at Knoxville Raceway officially as a media member. And then I started writing for Flat Out magazine for Justin Zock. And then that turned into writing stuff for the Nationals program. And then when social media comes around, I just brought it up to Brian Stickle, who was the marketing director at the time. I talked to him about, you guys have a Twitter account, but you're not really utilizing it. And he goes, well, do you know anything about Twitter? And I was like, it's new, but yes, I think I know what I'm doing. And I strictly volunteered as a media member in 2011 to start running the Knoxville Raceway Twitter account. And I was off to the races after that point. And that's how I first became involved with Knoxville Raceway. And then a couple years later, the track historian, our senior track historian still, is Bob Wilson. And he had this vision of writing a book for a very long time, and I didn't know about it. And he got to the point where he wanted to have it done after the 50th Nationals. And he invited me to join him in that venture to help write half of it. So he wrote the first 25 years and I wrote the second 25 years. And that was a huge learning process, elevated my writing style for sure. I learned a lot, and we're hoping to write more books in the future. Right now, Bob has another book out about the history just of Knoxville Raceway and the Marion County Fairgrounds. You can, shameless plug, you can find those online or through the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame at the gift shop if you're in town this week. So again, I'm just incredibly blessed to do everything that I get to do here.
Well, it's really impressive resume, and it's really neat to hear your passion for the sport. We talk about that a lot on all of our shows, whether it's drivers, crew chiefs, whoever we talk to, but it's also neat to talk to media who shares the same passion. When you look back at the history of Knoxville, you've been going for whatever you said, maybe over 40 years. How neat is it to see what the Nationals has become? I feel like people have started to get in on our little secret of this wonderful event, and now it's exploded. We've had sellout crowds and so many events, and Spire and Kendra have done a great job. How neat has that for you to witness it? You've witnessed it year by year.
It is really neat. It's pretty crazy. My first experiences coming to the Nationals is camping. And there was a group of friends that we camped in. There was 5 boys that we camped in a 2-man tent and just had a blast. And you start becoming more involved that way. And back then, you could actually camp like right next to the ticket office. That used to be grass, but that's all now a gravel lot where all the t-shirt trailers are. And you see it grow from a grandstand that would hold, I think, 8 or 10,000 people at the time, to now we have enough capacity of like 22,000 plus the suites and everybody in the infield. You get close to 25,000 people here nowadays. And the format of the event has changed. We used to have that Friday night show that was kind of a, the last chance night with the bottom, the top 50 were locked in, and then you had the bottom 50 basically that would come back Friday night, and that wasn't really a big deal as then as it is now with the Hard Knocks format, which I was able to help develop that with John McCoy several years ago, and that's been a huge change to the event itself. But just the facility is just it's just so much bigger. Once we got the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame in the early 90s, that really put us on a map, like with Diamond P Sports covering the Nationals in the mid 80s, and then we get the Hall of Fame. It became a destination for people to come to from both coasts at that point. And it had been for drivers coming from each end, but now it was fans coming. Instead of having 10 or 12,000 people, now you've got 25,000 people in a town that it only has 8,000 people living in it. So it's just amazing how the town embraces everything, and it all works every year. And it truly takes a village of employees and just the community to make it all happen. And we're all just so proud that it's here in Knoxville, Iowa.
This is the 60th running of the race. I will fumble multiple times between now and Saturday night and call it the 60th annual race. We all understand that we lost a year last year. Eric, losing a year and now on the cusp of the big weekend after a 2-year hiatus, it's almost like it's sad that we lost the annual title of it, but the anticipation to me seems like it's double high because we've had to wait 2 years for this race to finally happen.
Totally agree. It's last year was just, it sucked. I mean, it really did for everybody. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no,
Yep.
that's really the right word. It sucked for everybody, for the teams, for the fans, the town. And now that we've had all this anticipation, we're on a record pace for ticket sales. Saturday is going to sell out at some point within the next few days. We know that. We're under 1,000 tickets to go right now as of today. And it's, maybe we start selling out Friday as well at this point. I don't know, but the anticipation level, just on what I see and what I track on social media, managing that, and just the people around us all year long, everybody's just, they're so geeked for this 1 week. It's a religious experience for these people, and to take it away for a whole year, just, it was painful. And to be able to come back this year and whoop it up and party and see some great racing, we know what's going to happen. And it's the anticipation level is super high, which I think adds a little bit more stress for all of us. On the promotion side with Kendra and me and on down, it's we just want to make sure everybody has a good time. Kendra's the party planner, and we just got to make sure that everybody has a good time. And we know the race is going to be great. We just want to make sure the fan experience is as great as possible. And as geeked up as everybody is, I don't see how we can't mess that up,
Yeah, I'm just
Agree.
gonna say I don't think that I think the anticipation, the excitement, you get a home run right ahead of you. When you look at the next few days, where do you do your social media from? Where do you watch from? Are you all over the place? How do you keep up? Like, I always wonder that with social media accounts. It's not an easy job to pay attention to everything that's going on, stay involved, but remember to tweet and to keep up everything as it goes.
Thankfully, there's this program called TweetDeck, and I am able to schedule a lot of posts. I can pre-plan a lot of things,
Yep.
which works great until there's a weather delay or something in the schedule changes. And then it's a mad rush to jumble everything back together and make sure something doesn't go out that's not supposed to go out. So there's a lot of pre-planning. I work a ton of hours the last couple of weeks to make sure all that happens. I create a lot of the graphics as well. So like the dirt emails that Kendra sends out, a lot of those graphics is stuff that she's having me make. And then those get added into social media as well. So, but I try to get all of that done first. That way once we get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're able to connect with people and try to interact as much as we can and keep track of notifications and stuff. Now, it's impossible to keep track of all of it and answer everybody's questions. The amount of questions we get just through the Facebook page alone can drown you some days. And at some point, you're just like, screw it, I got to watch the races, So
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
You're right about that. Final question for you, Eric, as we look to write the history, or as you look to write the history of the 60th running of the Knoxville Nationals. Aaron and I, one of our themes over the last 2 weeks is this may be the widest open field that we've seen. We went through the anybody but Steve era, then we went Steve or Doug, and then we went Doug and Danny and Danny and Donnie and everything. It just seems to me like you're not going to be able to have any head starts on who's going to win this one as far as writing the history of it. This field is going to be wide open, it looks like to me.
I was thinking that until Oskaloosa last night, and I saw Kyle Larson be so dominant, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
somehow I don't know why you forget about him, but I did for a moment there, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we have Kyle Larson here. But I really think Gravel, Schatz, Brad Sweet, Logan Schuchart has been really strong here the last couple of nationals.
Yeah.
Those guys are at the top, and then there's still a handful of other guys that have a shot. Carson Macedo is driving the 41, and we know what that car is capable of here. So you just never know. I mean, nobody saw Jason Johnson winning in 2016, and it happened. So you just never know. I definitely think Larson has to be the favorite going in, but you sure as heck cannot discount Gravel and Sweet and the rest of those guys for sure.
Going to be fun. That's for sure, Eric. We're going to let you get back after it there. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks for your time, and can't wait to see you over the course of the next 4 days. We're gonna have a great time. That's for sure.
Yes, the beer bus will be ready for you guys. We'll be seeing you here.
Oh, the magic words.
We have a reputation.
And he didn't want to get the cheap plug in, although he did a nice job getting the cheap plug in. Go to the Hall of Fame and buy Eric's book. There, a little bit more direct approach. Eric, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. See you this week.
There we go. Eric Arnold joining us here on Wing Nation. For decades, Dryden Lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, Dryden offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to Dryden.com. Dryden, American-owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. Sage Fruit has been a longtime supporter of sprint car racing, sprint car fans, and us here at Wing Nation. What they pride themselves on most is providing shoppers with the highest quality, best-tasting apples, pears, and cherries available. Go to sagefruit.com and make sure you ask your local grocer for Sage Fruit. Flow Racing is the home of grassroots racing, with over 1,300 races streaming live in 2021. Watch the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl, World 100, Dirt Late Model Dreams, Sweet 16, and much, much more. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRN. From sprint cars on dirt to SK Modifieds on pavement, arena cross, drag racing, and everything in between, it's here live and on demand. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRN. That's FLOracing.com/MRN. Great to talk to Eric Arnold. Man, I'll tell you what, it is time. It is time for the Knoxville Nationals. Let's look at our upcoming schedule, and you can find your own calendar of racing. Our buddy TJ Slideways, his calendar is, I mean, good Lord. That's another one. I can't wait to talk to him when we get out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love talking to TJ. Good stuff. It is the 60th running of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's General Store. Tonight, prelim night, number 2. Friday night, FVP night. 4 spots for the big dance are going out on Friday night. Saturday, the Nationals, $150,000 to win. $1,000 per lap to lead, and lap 11 is Wing Nation lap. So we'll see who wins our money. See who takes our money to the bank. We talked about this on Tuesday, but I think it bears repeating. We went through that phase where it was anybody but Donnie. He won 9 of 10 years. Only Aliquippa's Tim Schaefer was the only one that broke it up. The last 4 years, 4 different winners. Jason Johnson, Donnie won in 2017, Brad Sweet and David Gravel. And, gosh, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
Just can't wait to see what's happening. Oh, it's going to be good stuff. And again, VFW Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit on the Hercules stage. Every night will be on Dirt Vision at 7 Eastern time or on Wing Nation and Dirt Vision's Facebook Live pages. So it's going to be big stuff. If you're not going to Knoxville, there's still sprint car races for you to support, okay? Pennsylvania is such a neat place, okay? Williams Grove and Port Royal decide they're going to take the weekend off to allow their drivers to go to the Knoxville Nationals. So Big Diamond and Clinton County decide we're going to have 410 races. And so Friday night, Big Diamond, the first time in 8 years the 410s have been there. They have a race on Friday night. Lernerville also has a race on Friday night. Saturday night, Clinton County, it's the first time the 410s have been there in more than 10 years. Also, Butler, Fremont, Lincoln, Sharon, St. Francis, and Wayne County on Saturday night, and 2 races on Saturday night for the 410s. Tri-Cities over in western Pennsylvania, and Jacksonville, Illinois has a show on Saturday or Sunday night. Woo! Man, I'm telling you what, we are in high cotton, baby. I'll tell you, this is fantastic. So, hey, if you are watching this here stateside, okay, on Saturday on our MAV TV show, The Flying Shoe, Ron Schumann joins us. Oh, man. What a neat guy that is, from Tempe, Arizona, that old Arizona collection.
Yeah.
And he gave us, I'll just give a little sneak peek. He told us what the men's room facility was like the first time he went there.
All
There
right.
was nothing too special, that's for sure. Yeah, good stuff. Ron Schumann. That is our Wing Nation television program presented by Sage Fruit. Follow along with us all week long at social media. Remember, at 7 o'clock each night, we have our live shows. It'll be on our Facebook Live and on Dirt Vision. But we are going to be all over the social media front as well. So, going to be great stuff for sure. And it was great stuff getting to hear from track historian Eric Arnold from out at the Knoxville Raceway. So we appreciate it. She's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils.